Okay, so what if you could build a true engine for innovation in your city? And I don't mean with a massive budget, but with a single, really smart system. Well, today we're heading over to Indonesia to see how one local government did exactly that. It's a question that honestly plagues governments everywhere. We all know good ideas are out there, but the real trick is, how do you actually find them? How do you nurture them? And, the big one, how do you turn them into real, funded policy? That's the million-dollar question, right? All right, so our story kicks off in Bulukumba Regency, Indonesia. Now, this is a place with just incredible potential, but it was facing this kind of hidden challenge that was really holding it back. And listen, Bulukumba is not some small town. We're talking about a population of nearly 500,000 people. They've got a super diverse economy, everything from farming and manufacturing to really cool creative industries. The potential? It was right there. You could practically feel it. But here's the catch. You had all these brilliant people, government staff, local entrepreneurs, young creators, and they had these fantastic ideas for making public services better. But those ideas, they were just hitting a brick wall. They were getting lost in the bureaucratic shuffle, never reaching the people who could actually do something about them. So what was this wall? Well, it has a name. And trust me, it's a problem a lot of big organizations are going to recognize. You could almost call it the villain of our story. They call it ego-sectoral, and really, it's just a fancy term for that classic silo mentality. You know what I'm talking about, right? The health department isn't talking to the planning department, which definitely isn't talking to the tech department. Everybody's just working in their own little bubble, their own little kingdom, and any good idea that could cross those lines, it just gets trapped. And this wasn't just some abstract problem. It had huge, real-world consequences. An idea could be absolutely brilliant, but if it wasn't formally documented, and, this is the most important part, connected to the official budget, it was basically just a hobby. It had no power, no way to stick around. So you end up with this really stark contrast. On one side, you've got all these one-off, temporary projects that just fizzle out. And on the other side, you've got the dream, a truly integrated system where innovation is just part of the government's DNA. So the big question was, how do you build a bridge from here to there? And this is where our hero finally enters the scene. The answer to that huge disconnect was a surprisingly simple, totally elegant solution called the iCafe. Now, what's so brilliant about this is that the iCafe isn't just a coffee shop for innovators, it's a whole new system. Think of it like a coaching and facilitation ecosystem designed specifically to break down those silos and guide ideas from a simple thought all the way to becoming a reality. So at its core, you've got this collaborative hub, and it's set up in the really cool, iconic Pinisi Building. And it's not just run by government folks. No way. It's managed by a team that brings everyone to the table. Government officials, academics, business leaders, all working side by side. They basically act as mentors, giving that crucial technical help to anyone who walks in with a promising idea. Okay, this brings us to the secret sauce, the real magic. How did the iCafe actually connect a raw, napkin sketch idea to real, official government funding? This is where the genius of the system just really shines through. They created this super simple 4-step pipeline. So step 1, an innovator comes to the iCafe with an idea. Step 2, the iCafe team helps them flush it out, document everything properly, and turn it into a formal proposal that actually meets all the official standards. And then, step 3, and this is the absolute key, that polished proposal gets plugged directly into the official government planning system. It's called the SIPD, and you can just think of it as the digital backbone for all government budgeting. Step 4, it's now in the system, ready for funding. And by building that bridge, by plugging ideas right into the government's financial mainframe, the iCafe gave these innovations something they never had before: permanence, both legal and financial. An idea was no longer just a flash in the pan. Now it could become official, long-term, sustainable policy. Okay, so this all sounds great on paper, right? But the big question is, did it actually work? Well, let's take a look at the results, because the numbers, they tell a pretty amazing story. Get this, in 2023 alone, that's their first full year of operation, more than 40 regional innovations were successfully pushed through the iCafe system and officially registered. And we're not just talking about a small bump here. This was a fundamental shift in how different departments worked together. And what about being sustainable? Can this last? This is where it gets really impressive. The entire thing is funded by 100% domestic sources. Think about that. There are no foreign grants, no special loans that could just vanish next year. This is a homegrown, locally owned, locally funded solution. And if we actually break that down, a whopping 90% of the money comes straight from the Regency's own annual budget. The other 10%, that comes from local partners pitching in. So you see, this isn't some side project. It's become a core function of the government itself. And the impact here really ripples outward. It goes way beyond just the local government. This one initiative is directly supporting several of the global sustainable development goals. The SDGs. It's hitting Goal 9 for innovation, Goal 16 for building strong institutions, and Goal 8 for promoting economic growth. It's local action with a global impact. So, what's the big takeaway for you? Well, the success in Bulukumba isn't just a nice, feel-good story. It's actually a practical blueprint that pretty much any city or organization can learn from. The team there really boiled it down to 3 crucial lessons. First, work with what you've got. Don't build a brand new, expensive app. Plug your system into the software the government already uses. Second, people matter. Digital tools are great, but you need a real physical place where people can get coaching and support from other real people. And third, own it. When it's funded 100% locally, it's strong enough to survive any political changes or budget cuts down the road. And all of that brings us to our final thought. What the iCafe proves is that the biggest barrier to innovation often isn't a lack of great ideas, or even a lack of money. It's usually a lack of a system to connect the two. So that leaves me with one last question for you. What incredible untapped potential is just waiting to be unlocked in your community?